today we're going to be talking about how people that are dumber than you are able to make millions of dollars and why you can't. And although that sounds like a cliche, corny, dumb topic, I promise you it's not. And I feel like you guys can get a lot of insight from this video. We're going to be just doing a POV drive in the McLaren 570S today. Of course, we got the top down because it's a nice day. And I guess let's start the car, start talking, and see where things go. There we go. Alright, like I said, title of the video is going to be something like POV, people dumber than you make millions. Now, why is that the title of the video? It's because it's true. Do you think that every single person that makes money, whether it's online or owns a business, do you really think that every single person that does so is smarter than you? Because I promise you that is absolutely not the case. In fact, there's a good chance that if you're watching this video, maybe you feel like you're not that dumb. Maybe you even feel like you're smart. Yet at the same time, you feel like everybody else is able to succeed around you. Or you watch all these people succeed and you want to do it yourself, but something is just stopping you from succeeding. You don't know what it is. You don't know why other people can do it that seem like maybe you even think they're stupid, right? Maybe you know somebody that's stupid. Whatever the case may be, everybody that's watching this is going to be a different situation. Everybody has their own life. Now, I think one thing that's important to say and one thing that's important to preface is that I think it is important to realize that there are 8 billion people on planet Earth, and that I'm not the only person here, you're not the only person here. So nobody should be special enough to where they're privileged over other people, right? Meaning, you just shouldn't think that the world revolves around you when it doesn't, right? So, realistically, the world, of course, does not revolve around you. And knowing that, you're just one little dot out of a bunch of different people, I think to me that's something that I realized, and realizing that made me understand that if you want to succeed, nobody's going to come knocking at your door. And I know you've probably heard that before, but it really is true. When there's 8 billion people, everybody has their own life. And because of that, everybody's going to focus on themselves. But you have to realize the world doesn't revolve around you. You're not just going to get lucky and find some opportunity. And the big thing that I see a lot of people doing is they think that other people are lucky for succeeding. Maybe even you saw somebody and thought, oh, it was just luck. I don't think I'm in this position sitting in this McLaren that I bought because I got lucky. I was raised in a decent neighborhood, but just, maybe middle-class neighborhood, nothing crazy. I didn't come from money. My parents were immigrants, so, I don't think this was luck in the slightest. It definitely took a lot of hard work to get to be in the position where I'm at right now. Anyways, what I'm saying is that you can't view everybody's success as luck. You can't view yourself as unlucky that you can't succeed. And what this all comes down to, in my opinion, is skepticism. So there's a big difference between being smart and stupid and being skeptical and not skeptical. Very different things. You can have somebody that's smart, that's very skeptical about everything. And you can have somebody that's very dumb that's skeptical about everything. And you can have the other end of the spectrum, right? You can have somebody that's dumb that's not very skeptical about things. And same things, you can have smart people that aren't very skeptical. Whatever the case is, when it comes to making money, specifically online in my opinion, or at least becoming an entrepreneur, when it goes down the entrepreneurial path, I think it's really important to understand that, people got there because they took risks. You can't become an entrepreneur and be skeptical about everything. If you look at people online with nice stuff or nice cars or whatever the case is, and you think, oh, they got lucky, or oh, it's all fake, that's called being skeptical. I'm not saying that you should believe everything you see on the internet, because that is definitely not a smart thing to do either. But you definitely have to realize that being skeptical about everything means that you're not going to ever take risks. So if you're not taking risks, how are you ever going to be ahead of somebody? People that are stupid can become millionaires if they just take risks. Imagine somebody that's, let's say, they are much dumber than you, and they tried 100 different business models, and they failed 99 times, but on time number 100, they succeeded. Do you know what happens? That means that they succeeded. That means that now they are making good money, and you're not. And it's just because they took the risk. let's say you are smarter than that same person and you tried 3 different businesses at any point in your life and all 3 failed. And at that point you said, you know what, I'm sick of this, I'm done, I'm just unlucky and I'm never gonna succeed like everybody else. That is what is stopping you. Somebody that's dumber than you, they succeeded because he succeeded on the 100th attempt because he failed 99 times prior. If he failed on the 3rd try like you did, he would also not have any entrepreneurial success. I hope this is making sense, but what a lot of people don't realize is how much work it takes to actually succeed. Of course, you can get lucky and succeed on your first try, whatever the case may be, but most of the time, it's going to take people a lot of attempts to get to that point. So, you know, it's really important that whenever you fail, you have to take something good at it. And I'm being so serious when I say this. Every single time I've ever been in a position where I failed, where something didn't work out, I always look back at it. I even sometimes write down things in my notes or on a piece of paper, and I write down what I learned from that failure. And at this point, I've done this so many times, I've tricked my brain to when I fail, I'm not even upset. Granted, I'm not going to be ecstatic, super happy, but when I fail, I'm not upset. I don't get angry. I don't get upset, like I said, and I just feel neutral. And I look at it because, of course, I have a little bit of sadness that I failed, but then I also am like, wow, I learned so much from this failure. Now I know what to do for next time, right? So, you know, that's the biggest thing that comes out of all of this, is that when you fail, you need to be able to see something good out of it. Because if you see every failure as what it is, a failure, then where are you ever going to go in life, you know? So, really important, like I said, to make sure that every time you are failing, you feel like you gain something out of it. Because if you don't get in the habit of doing that, then you're never going to succeed. Because if you fail and it gives you that much of a mental toll, why would you ever go back into it? If I did anything and it gave me such a bad mental toll that I never want to do that thing again, why would you do it again, right? At that point, you're not even making money wouldn't even make you happy. At that point, it's just, I don't even know what that would be at that point. That's why I'm saying it just doesn't really make sense. So, like I said, you're going to need to take every failure and view it as success from a learning standpoint, essentially. And once you're able to switch your mentality to where you fail and you're able to not be upset because the positives outweigh the negatives, meaning the benefit of learning outweighs you being upset that you failed, then you're going to be in a good spot. And from there, all you need to do is just keep on trying. And this is why people dumber than you are able to make millions of dollars. I've seen so many stupid people like be in the position where they're able to succeed because of the fact that they just keep on trying, and every time they fail, they're just totally unfazed. They don't care. And that's why the title of this video is what it is. People dumber than you make millions, because it is true. People dumber than you are able to make millions because it's not about being smart or being dumb that is able to make you financially successful or succeed as an entrepreneur. What gives you the ability to succeed is about how skeptical you are. And that's the best word I can use. Of course, you don't want to be so unskeptical that you just believe everything online, and that you get what I mean. You shouldn't be gullible. There's a big difference here. But if you're very skeptical about everything you try, about if this is going to work, then you're never going to succeed. And you know, something I can tell you as well is all the dumb people I've seen succeed, they're able to succeed because they don't worry about plan B. And you might be like, what am I talking about? What's plan B? Well, plan B, you'll know what I'm talking about the second I start saying college or whatever the case is, some sort of school or some sort of quote-unquote backup plan. Plan B is backup plan. That is what plan B is. And a lot of people think that they need a plan B because what if it doesn't succeed? Maybe you want to start a business and your friends or family are pushing you and they're saying, oh, what if this doesn't succeed? What if this or that, right? And the big problem with that is that if you waste time on focusing on plan B, then you're pretty much taking away time from plan A, which you never want to do. You're taking away time from plan A. That is just not a good thing that you should be doing. Because imagine you took all that time. Let's say, I'll give you an example, right? Imagine you wanted to become an entrepreneur and you're Also looking at applying to colleges, schools, whatever the case may be. If you spend a ton of time worrying about going to college instead of putting all that time into plan A, then you're taking away from plan A. That's really all you're doing. Imagine you took all the time planning for plan B and you put all of it into plan A. What would happen? Think, what would happen if all the time, because realistically when you have plan A and plan B, it's not an even split. It's not a fair split. You're not splitting plan A is 80% of your time and plan B is 20% of your time. Maybe if that was the case, then maybe, right? But even so, you're still taking away 20% from plan A. Now, the realistic scenario is that it's actually 50-50. You put 50% of your time into plan A and 50% of your energy and time into plan B. Now imagine you actually put 100% of your time into plan A. Think about how different things would be if all of your time was put into plan A. Then you have no choice but to succeed. Not only do you have no choice to succeed, but the fact that you're putting in so much time just guarantees your success. How can you bet on yourself and think you're going to fail? That's what plan B is. In my opinion, if you have a plan B, that's what plan B is. You're betting on yourself as an entrepreneur, but you feel like you're going to fail. And that's why plan B is created. Maybe somebody pushed you to create plan B, but you have to have a strong mind and realize that all entrepreneurs, every single entrepreneur ever had pushback, including me. Family, friends of family, everybody was doubting me, saying that this is such a bad idea. Like, I'm telling you, I got at least 5 times more negative output than positive in general. So, I don't know. It's really something that you're going to have to mentally go through. And it's mostly about mentality, right? You're going to have to mentally give yourself that challenge to be able to have doubt from other people and push past it, right? So maybe that plan B, like I said, your mom or your sister or whatever the case is, pushed you to create plan B, and you never would have if they didn't, but you still need that mental fortitude to be able to not go for plan B or even start thinking about plan B, even if other people are pushing you to. You need to have push from other people and say, listen, I believe in myself, because you should, right? If you want to be an entrepreneur, you should believe in yourself. Otherwise, how can you ever succeed? How often do you see people succeeding that can't even believe in themselves? And I know this might sound dumb to some people that are watching this, and they might be listening like, oh, well, I feel like I put time into plan B, and it was worth it, or whatever the case is. But realistically, if you really look deep into it, you only had a plan B because you doubted yourself. If you really didn't doubt yourself at all, why would you have had a plan B? So, like I'm saying, you might be watching this video thinking that, oh, I never doubt myself, I always think I can succeed. Then why do you have a plan B, right? So, that's something you should sit down and ask yourself, wait, if I really don't doubt myself, then why do I have plan B? And this all ties back to, this is why people dumber than you make millions of dollars. It's just because of the fact that they, whether you want to say it's dumb of them, right? It's not about being smart or dumb. They're just not skeptical. They believe in themselves, and they never had a plan B in the first place. And these quote-unquote dumb people that you're seeing succeed, they succeeded because, number one, never had a plan B. Number two, they tried so many times. They failed 5 times more than you've even tried, right? So once you realize that, maybe you'll start to realize that succeeding isn't about being dumb or smart. Because if that was the case, then how come all of the smart kids in your school or your college or wherever, how come all of them aren't entrepreneurs? You might know some people that are ridiculously smart. You might even be like, I can't even comprehend or understand how they're so smart. If it was about being smart and dumb, then all of those people would be succeeding as an entrepreneur, and all the dumb people would be failing. But if you actually look at the world, that's not how things run at all. There are plenty of smart people that are stuck in 9-to-5s, and there are plenty of dumb people that are extremely rich and wealthy. And people think that just because you're smart or whatever the case is, they think money is about being smart, and it's not. It's about believing in yourself and being able to fail and keep going. So once you realize that, I think the biggest thing to making money is that 95% of making money is going to be your mentality. So if you're able to put yourself in a mentality where you believe that you're going to succeed and you feel like you really don't need a plan B, once you're able to do that, you're going to start seeing success. Because once you have that mentality, at that point, right, you're going to be at the point where now you're failing and you're not becoming so miserable from your failures, number one. And then number two, you're also going to keep on trying and trying after you fail, and you're not wasting time on a plan B, right? If you can picture this, now you'll realize what success is really about. It's about believing in yourself. And once you're able to do that and put all of your time and energy into plan A and keep failing and failing and failing and then keep getting back on your feet and trying again, you will succeed. You know how long it took me to succeed? I don't want to give my opinion on whether I'm smart or dumb, because to be honest, I want you to realize that it's irrelevant if you're smart or dumb. That's why this video is titled that way, is because being dumb doesn't mean anything. You just might be a little salty that people dumber than you make millions, but when you realize that it's not about being smart or dumb that makes money, that's why the video is titled that way, because it's totally irrelevant how intelligent you are. It's about being able to believe in yourself. So take me, for example. I started in freshman year trying to make money online because I really didn't want to go to college. And I guess I never had a plan B in the first place because I just hated the idea of college. Like, that was my plan B. There was no other option of a plan B around me, I guess, if that makes sense. And because of that, I just didn't want to go to college. So for me, plan B was never even an idea in my head. I started out in freshman year. I was trying to make like Fortnite teams and monetize them. I mean, I even had thousands of subscribers on YouTube at one point, trying to create like a big Fortnite team with my friend who had like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I tried doing a bunch of different things. I was trying to become a sound engineer. I was mixing music for people. People were paying me to mix their music for them. And then from there, I tried to become also a producer. I tried to make my own music. I was really into music at one point, right? I was trying to go down that music route. And all of those were different ways to make money, right? I was trying to mix for people. I was trying to make beats. I was trying to make my own music. I was trying to start a Fortnite team. I tried a few other things. I think at one point I was even trying drop shipping. I tried so many different things I can't even count. But before I had my first success, I would say I tried at a minimum of 10 different things over the course of 3 or so years. And after trying and trying and trying and failing and failing and failing, in my senior year, I was able to find something that was able to make me money, right? I started pretty much a social media marketing agency. Not exactly the same, it was similar. Where pretty much I was managing brand deals for 100 plus creators at once, and I was doing big package deals, right? Think about it. If each creator charges, $500 for a brand deal and I have 100, that's going to be $50,000. So then I could charge a company, say I have connects with all of these people and they have the written consent that I can do brand deals for them. I charge the company $70,000 and I pay $50,000 out to the creators, and now I'm net with 20K profit. And I was doing that multiple times a month, right? You don't need a deal every single day if deals are that big. So I was doing that multiple times a month. I was making over 100K a month while I was in school, right? I'd be sitting in class and I was not even paying attention to my teachers. You wouldn't even believe it. True story. In my cooking class, for example, I was always on my phone and I was always working. I was scheduling out meetings. I was doing this, that for my work. And my cooking teacher, would always get mad at me because it was my first period of the day and a lot of the people I worked with were in Europe. So I had to be up in the morning texting them, and that's when I was in school. And my cooking teacher would always deduct points, whatever. I didn't really care. But she was a nice person, so I decided to go to her one class afterwards. And I told her, I was explaining to her that I'm not just always on my phone texting people. I'm not doing what the other kids in the classes that are on their phones. I'm not doing what they're doing, right? I'm not just wasting time texting people, making fun of your class. I'm trying to make a living for my future. And I'll be honest, she still was like, okay, whatever, you still need to be off your phone, right? But, at least it felt good to try and explain to her that, I wasn't being disrespectful, because I kind of felt bad. But, in the end, she didn't really care. I'm sure she didn't take it personal, so it's whatever. But that just goes to show you that it took me 3 years, and then I was working so much. I was working 70 hours a week to the point where I was every day I was in cooking class, or in pretty much every period I would do that. During lunch, during study hall, I was just always working throughout the whole school day. And then when I'd get home, I would work the entire day. I used to do swimming, and then I quit swimming to work. I quit my job to work even more, so that's why I was working 70 hours a week. So I was working literally the whole day. I was working every hour that I was awake that I could be, and whenever I wasn't working, I was like in the back of my head thinking about work, and I couldn't fall asleep a lot of the time because I was thinking about work, to the point where I'd start going on my phone in the middle of the night to continue doing my work. But that's just an example, right? Right now, what I do is I do social media automation. I run faceless YouTube channels, faceless Snapchat accounts, faceless TikTok accounts. And right now I'm still making 6 figures a month doing that, just because my marketing agency thing kind of died out after COVID. It like totally died. So that was unfortunate. Or right when COVID ended, it kind of died because everybody was tucked in at home. So brands were paying a lot of money to all these influencers, and then it kind of stopped. Or maybe there was too many marketing agencies at that point where it was too saturated. Whatever the case was, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. Hold on, I'm just fixing the phone here. Anyways, like I was saying, you know, I was working way too much, I'm not gonna lie to you, to the point where I was actually starting to get sick. One time I even like got a fever just because I overworked myself, right? I like went to the doctor, I had a fever, worst headache ever, just from working so much, and then having to also deal with like school, because I still needed to graduate, right? So that guy just waved over to me, but like I was saying, so with making money online, I think that's going to be the best way to make money for just anybody watching this video. And if you want to be able to do it, you need to get rid of whatever plan B you have and just dial in, if you can, right? Obviously, in some situations, you can't fully do that. But if you can to an extent, right, you should try to, is what I'm trying to get at here. So, how are people dumber than you making millions? Well, we already talked about that a little bit. Kind of want to keep the same topic throughout the video, though. But even though we already talked about it, what are they doing that you can't do? Maybe you're in the position where you've tried so many different things, but it doesn't work out for you. Well, the reason they're able to make a ton of money, even though they're not that smart, is just because of the amount of hours they put in. They make sacrifices that maybe you would never make. Right? When I was in my senior year and I finally started like grinding so hard to not have to go to college, essentially, I was honestly not hanging out with anybody. I stopped playing video games. Like, I uninstalled every video game off my computer. And like I said, only thing I was doing was work. And I think what a lot of people don't realize, because they see me now. I'll give you an example. They see me now and they see that I'm only working, you know, a few hours every day. If I'm even working that day. They see my schedule goes around whenever I want. I just work whenever I want, however I want, however long I want. And people see that, and then they see my success, and they think, well, I'm putting the same amount of work in as him, so why can't I succeed? And that's one thing I feel like I should have touched on already in this video, but it's fine. Pretty much what I'm trying to say here is that it's the graph of what it looks like in terms of work and success is when you have no success, right, in the start, 0 success, you're over here, and this is, let's say, the most success. When you have no success here, your work is up here compared to down here. When you first start is when the most amount of work is. So when you first start, maybe you have to be putting in 70 hours a week, and then once you start seeing money, then you can dial it down, hire out some people to do the work for you, right? That's kind of how it boils down. You're doing all the work yourself, and then you hire people to do work for you, which buys back your time, essentially. And then you hire more people, and hire more people, the more money you make, right? So that's why people think that they should be able to succeed like I do because they work as much as I do. But that's not the case. They're missing the fact that when I first started, I was working 3 times more than they're working right now, which they don't realize. And I was doing that for a very long time, right? So you got to realize that if you actually want to start, and this is what turns a lot of people off from entrepreneurship, because they don't realize this, or maybe they do and they just give up. I don't really know. whatever the case is, once people realize that 99% of the work from your business is going to be at the start of your business, that turns them off, because they feel like that's what produces doubt. They're like, why would I work 70 hours a week and put all my time and effort into this? Maybe I should have a plan B. Boom, now we're back. Restart the video if you're thinking like that. Literally, restart the video. Because that's the problem. That's how it all starts. That's where the doubt comes from. So yeah, when you first start is when you're going to be working the most. So if you want to be able to succeed like other people, then you have to make sacrifices. Like these quote-unquote dumb people that are making millions, they make sacrifices that you're not. They stop going out with friends. They stop doing everything. They only work. Every time they fail, they get right back up. They learn from their failures, and they try a billion times. And once they succeed, that's all they need. You only need one time to succeed. You can try 500 times. Even if you fail 499 times, if you succeed once, you're a success. People will look at you and they'll realize you're a success. And that's the funny thing is, people will see you. If you're in the position where you watch this and you take this advice and you succeed, you're going to be in the position, because I know you will be, because I've been in this position, where you're going to fail 499 times, let's say. On the 500th time, you succeed. People are going to say, oh, you got lucky, it was so easy for you, or how did you do this, like, please help me. And that's the worst thing, like, people asking me for help on how to make money, because this is the advice I give them, and they're like, no, put me onto this, or put me onto whatever you're doing, like, don't give me advice on mentality. Like, no, that's the most important thing, and they don't realize that. And you're going to succeed on your 500th time, and people are only going to see that 500th time and think that you only tried once and you succeeded once, right? They're not going to see the 499 failures before then that it took to get there. And maybe, not maybe, I can guarantee you've also been in the position where you thought somebody was lucky or succeeded super easily, but in reality, they worked thousands of hours to get to the point where they made their first dollar. You know, a lot of the time, it might take you literally thousands of hours to even see 1 cent. But once you see that 1 cent, then the next day you see $1, then the next day you see 10, then 100, and then boom, now you're at your first $1,000 day. It rapidly increases, right? You're gonna see a chart kind of like this. You're making nothing, then a little. Then right when you start seeing a little bit, every day it's gonna keep multiplying and multiplying and multiplying until you're at a point where maybe now you're making 10K a month, 15K a month, or even at where I'm at right now, making between 70 to like 120K a month on a good month. So, and I just like to say I make 6 figures a month because it's kind of half and half. So overall, I'm making around that. So that's fair enough to me. But even now, I still have things that I'm failing with. I just recently started 2 different things that I actually spent like thousands of dollars on, and I failed. Recently, earlier this year, I was doing some work. Don't even really want to talk about it, but I was doing it for a few weeks, put in a few $1,000s multiple times. Like, I actually failed multiple times in the same thing, and I just kept putting in more and more money. Eventually, I actually made almost all of my money back, but I still ended up being down $2,000-$3,000. And at that point, I realized that the market I was in was just too saturated, and I realized it was time not to give up, right, but to do something else. And now I'm working on a totally different project. Just because I gave up doesn't mean that I'm just going to give up on everything. You can give up on that one specific thing because you realize that maybe that's not a good field to get into. But you can take that and just go into another field, right? So definitely realize that I didn't give up. I just put my time and effort into another field. And now I actually have some pretty good faith that this next thing I work on is going to work out pretty well. One sec. All right, just losing my train of thought. Hopefully we're all good. I think I'm back. Get some driving in real quick. Need to relax. Alright, anyways, like I was saying, if you want to know the route that I went down, now what I'm doing, well, if you're interested in what I'm doing, like I said, I run YouTube channels. How long did it take me to get into that? It took me maybe 4 or 5 different channels. It took me literal months genuinely months of working. When I first started, I was even though I already had success in the past, I didn't want to put money into something that I didn't make money from yet, if that makes sense. That's kind of my mentality when it comes to starting businesses. So I was making all my own thumbnails, editing my own videos on multiple different channels. I tried so many different channels until one succeeded, and my first monetized channel made me $10,000 a month. Right when I made that channel and I found success, I created 2 more channels in the same niche, and both of those channels were making over $5,000 a month. Once they started making money, I fully automated them. I'm talking, I had a thumbnail artist, I had an editor, I had voice actors, I had a script writer, and I had a manager managing the channels and uploading the videos, talking to the thumbnail artists, voice actors, making sure the videos were getting done. And at that point, that's when I started working on Snapchat, because now I had so much free time. Like I was literally making around $20,000 a month from YouTube. I was making $100K a month prior to this, but you know, I was still happy because now before I was doing 70 hours a week to get $100K a month. Now I was doing literally 0 hours a week, like genuinely 0 hours a week to make $20K a month. So that's why I started working on Snapchat and Snap shows. I got connections in there, and yes, I did have a connection to get into Snapchat. Otherwise, I never would have gotten into Snapchat. But I made that connection through working on YouTube. So it's not like I just had that connection. I actually met that person through working on YouTube. They introduced me to Snapchat, helped me get started. I worked with them. And then I started making $30,000 a month from Snapchat. Now I'm making like $50K a month from YouTube and Snapchat combined. And in the Snapchat, we fully automated. Once again, I'm literally putting in no time. Like, this might not sound realistic, but in this specific business model, I was putting in 0 hours to YouTube and Snapchat, making $50K a month. So I started TikTok Shop, where then my first month I made $20,000 because that was brand new when I started. It was super easy. I was making $20K. Now I'm making $70K a month, $80K a month, and I'm working around 2-ish hours a day on the TikTok Shop. Not even, maybe 1 to 2 hours is a more accurate representation of how much I was actually working. And now we're at the point where I'm at now, where I kind of just do whatever. I still have my automated YouTube channels. I have my automated Snap shows. Those are still making me money. But now I have way more YouTube channels. I have 9 YouTube channels that are active. The 3 I was talking about before, though, I actually don't run anymore because they eventually died out. But Snap shows are fully automated still making good money off Snap and YouTube. Don't do TikTok Shop anymore, but TikTok Shop is actually really good still. I just didn't want to put in, you know, the energy into doing it, just because I feel like my time could have been used somewhere else. Because now that I have capital, I can use my capital to invest into, I guess, more quote-unquote legitimate business. It's still legitimate business, of course. I hate when people say it's not, but something more with, like, physical goods, like a retail service is more what I'm leaning towards. So I think that's going to go well. But like I said, social media, I think, is going to be the easiest way for anyone to make money online right now. If you're not making money and you don't know where to start with making money online, definitely start with social media. I mean, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, they make so much money, and the best part about them is you could just hire out teams to do the work for you once you don't want to work anymore, which is the beauty of it. I love it so much. I honestly have so much fun running it. Maybe I have fun because of the fact that it's like 90% automated and that I barely do anything. I'm just like the overhead manager at this point. But, you know, I finally pulled the trigger about this McLaren. I always wanted a McLaren since I was a kid. Honestly, I was never really into cars all that much, but I always just really liked McLarens. And, you know, I'm trying to drive in a manual. I'm not the best at it, but not like I can even do much, considering that there are unfortunately a ton of cars on the road, even in the middle of nowhere. Just unfortunately living in Tampa, Florida, it's pretty crowded. Anyways, though, back on topic of the video. If you guys want to know pretty much how I did everything, it really wasn't as difficult as you might think. It's not about being difficult, it's about taking time, right? It's kind of like that saying that some things can be simple but not easy. And so I guess it wasn't easy, right? It's simply put, I can simply say it was an easy task to do. It's just very time consuming to get started, right? If you really want to make things work and be at 100K a month, of course, to get to 5-10K a month with social media is very simple. Like, at this point, I've helped a ton of people do that. But if you want to get to the point where you're at like 100K a month, you're gonna really need to put in a lot of hours and work. So if you're in the point where I'm not sure what kind of audience YouTube's recommending this video to, but hopefully it's recommending it to people that are interested, of course. I mean, if you're watching this far, then you're interested, but maybe you're around my age, maybe you're even older, because I've had a lot of people reach out to me that are a lot older than me that ask for help, because they see me as a young person working on social media, and they don't understand how social media works, so they just reach out to me, and that's where I come in and help. Also, if you guys want to join, shameless plug, but if you want to join my Telegram in the group, not selling anything in there, I just give advice. I kind of just send voice messages just because, I don't know, recently that's just kind of been my thing, talking to a camera, talking to a mic. I just like giving advice to people and seeing the comments come in saying I helped. I mean, that just always brings me joy, being able to realize where I was before. Like, I low-key hated my life. I did not want to go to college, and now being just like so much more happy than I was before. People say money but doesn't buy you happiness, and it doesn't, but it buys you freedom. And I'm only saying that because that's like the most overused quote ever, and I know for a fact, if you're watching this, that you've heard that quote before. If not, then I don't know what to say, but everybody says it doesn't buy you happiness, it buys you freedom. But the thing is, that's actually true, right? I don't have to be trapped, worried about where I'm going to be in life because I'm making money, right? And because of that, I have freedom, and freedom gives you happiness. If you're not free right now, and you're unhappy, making money will make you free. And because the right now you're not having freedom, that's making you unhappy. You're not free. Having that freedom will make you happy. The only thing money can't do, it can't buy you like love. It can't buy you like friends from other people. Because even if you get a girlfriend or boyfriend, or you have friends, whatever the case is, if they came from the money, then you can almost tell. Not almost tell. You can most certainly tell, right? Because it's just so obvious when people want to use you for money. Like I'm saying, money can't buy you how people feel about you. If people think you're annoying, or people just don't really like you, what can you do about that? You're gonna have to find people that do like you, and that's the most unfortunate thing. If you have money, it's gonna be hard to find actual relationships unless you hide the fact that you have money. Because I guarantee you, no matter who you are, no matter how lonely you think you are, there are people in the world that will like your personality, and will like, maybe some people that would want you to be their best friend or boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, I guarantee you those people exist. Maybe even tens, thousands, or maybe even millions of them, right? There's 8 billion people on the planet, like how I started off this video saying. So, yeah, I mean, that's going to be the thing about money. So in my opinion, if you already have good friends, you have a relationship or whatever, but you're still unhappy because you feel like you're not free, then money will grant you that happiness. If you're in a position where you don't really have any friends or anything like that, money's not going to solve that, but maybe it'll at least alleviate the pain. I don't know anybody who's made money. I don't know anybody who's made money and then said, oh yeah, I regretted it. Like, of course it makes people a little happy. People that say it didn't buy them happiness or whatever, that is the most, I don't even know what to say. It's just not true. It's just not true at all, because nobody would take it back. Nobody would be like, oh, I wish I didn't start my business so I wouldn't have all this money, right? Like, who would say that? Absolutely nobody would ever say that. But you know what I do know? I know a lot of people that have wasted a ton of money on like cars or whatever that they couldn't afford. They wasted a ton of money, and then from there they said that they regretted having money and then wasting all their money. That's what they regretted. But nobody regrets making money. People regret wasting or losing money, not the other way around. That just doesn't make sense. And maybe it looks like finally we have a road where there's not many people on it. That's a little curve. Okay, maybe there are people on it. I'm just jinxing myself. But like I said, nobody regrets making money. People regret losing money. So if you want to be in a position to make money, you're gonna need to put work in and get rid of any plan Bs you have. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Let's hit this roundabout. Anyways, if you want to actually get started making money, and you want to be in the point where you're not where you are now, wherever that is, because everybody, like I said, watching these videos is in a different point in their life, then you're gonna need to start now. Kind of maybe find a reason why aren't you starting now? Why are you watching this video? Why are you interested in this topic? If you're interested in this topic, clearly you want it, but how badly do you want it, right? If you don't want it badly enough, then you're just gonna be lazy and not doing anything. You're gonna say, okay, this video is so motivational, inspirational, whatever words and adjectives you want to give it. But if you're not going to start right now, when you're done this video, why aren't you starting? Okay, maybe you're saying you're going to start tomorrow, but then tomorrow you're like, oh, well, I just got done doing football practice or whatever. I'm really tired. It can wait one extra day. I've waited my whole life already. It can wait one extra day, right? No, it can't. It can't and the reason it can't wait one extra day is because if it waits one extra day, it'll wait an extra day and an extra day and an extra day. And if you let yourself have this mentality, maybe you do start, but you start 2 days on a delay. And then every time you get to work, you're going to give yourself a delay. So you're never going to be at the point where you're actually working enough if you're always giving yourself delays. Like, if you really want it, get started. Like, if you don't know where to start, like I said, social media is ridiculously easy for anybody to get into. Why don't you just at least try there? Right? Like I said, I got the Telegram in the bio. I talk about social media in there for free. There's no payment to join the Telegram, so why not? Why not join? Listen to what I have to say. Try your own social media journey. Start with either YouTube, Snapchat, or TikTok. Like, there's so many different social media platforms that make money. I mean, even Facebook pays. What's funny is there's so many ways to make money online. I genuinely think the number of ways to make money online could be in the millions or billions of different ways to make money. There are that many different ways to make 10K plus a month, yet you're not able to find one. It just doesn't make sense. So like I said, I'm handing it to you on a platter. Just start with social media. It's super easy. And just in general, think about how many ways there are to make money. I mean, you got dropshipping, Amazon FBA, social media, car flipping, car detailing. Like, if I just wanted to talk about cars, car wrapping, fixing up cars. There's so many different things in each category. There's so many different ways that you can make money. It's crazy, right? Making money really isn't difficult because there are just so many different ways to do it. There are hard ways to do it. There are easy ways to do it. There are simple ways to do it. There are, complex ways to do it. So what it comes down to is it's not about the work. Anybody can do it. People say that not everybody's built for it. Everybody's built for it. Everybody has a human brain that's watching this, I'd assume, unless you are putting your cat on the screen or whatever. But realistically, everybody is watching this, has a human brain, and you guys are able to can do what I done, right? If I just told you what to do, for example, and I gave you my daily routine, you'd be able to replicate it. I don't do anything that complex or crazy. The reason I'm saying this is because it's not about which way you choose to make money. It's about your mentality. And I'm just going to keep saying it over and over until it gets in your head. Like, I know I've said it maybe 6 times in this one video, the same thing over and over. I don't care how many times I have to say. I'm going to keep saying it so you remember it. You remember this video and you remember that I said 95% of making money is your mentality. Only 5% is the work. I'm being so honest. I swear to God, I'm being honest when I say that. That's really how I feel about it. 95% of it is your mentality. Once you fix your mentality, you're going to make money. It's just no doubt in my mind. Unless you genuinely are unable to, like you have some sort of mental disability where you can't even think straight. Which, of course, if anybody has that that's watching this, I mean no offense. I'm just saying, like, if you feel like you're at least average, or even a little below average, or maybe a decent amount below average, right? As long as you're capable, like if you're able to go to school and you're in your classes, you're able to do whatever, you know what I'm saying? You should know if you have a capable human brain. If you're even capable of doing any normal task, then you're capable of making money. It's just a fact. Now all you need to do is fix your mentality, which is why I'm saying it over and over again, because it works the same way with ads. Advertisers, you might wonder, why do people play like Coca-Cola ads on the TV? It's because the more times you see it, maybe when you're out at the store, you're going to recognize Coca-Cola, and that recognition is what's going to make you want to buy the Coca-Cola. It's not about watching the ad once, it's about seeing the ad every time you watch TV, which is why you're watching this video only one time, I'd imagine. Maybe you're going to watch it again, but I'm going to keep saying that it's a mentality. Write it down in your notes. Maybe get a whiteboard. If you guys want, to be able to make money like these dumb people making millionaires, as the title states, then you need to start now. There's no excuse for you not to start now. I don't want to hear an excuse in the comments. There's no excuse to start now. Anybody can make it work. I assure you, anybody can make it work. Not sure how there's traffic here, but like I said, anybody can make this work. Anyways, if you're having trouble, I'm just gonna start giving out some sauce and advice. If you're having trouble, you feel like you're too lazy. All right, let's get you out of that laziness cycle. Why are you lazy? Buy a whiteboard and put it on the wall, or put it in front of your bed. Put it somewhere that you're forced to see it. Maybe on your bedroom door, your bathroom door, somewhere where you literally cannot see it. Just go around your house and find the most commonly viewed place by your eyeballs, and put the whiteboard there and write down a list of what you need to do today. Right? Bullet point list of what you need to do today. And every night before you go to bed, write what you need to do for the next day. And the next day, you have to do all of those things. You just have to, no matter what. Give yourself a punishment if you don't, or maybe have somebody else hold you accountable. Like call your friend and say, if I don't get these done, then you can spray a water gun at me when you see me, or something like, I don't know, whatever the case is. I'm just giving an example. It doesn't have to be that. Maybe you cringed at that example. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be that. There's so many ways for you to do it. Have that list and make sure everything you want to do gets done. Let's say at first you can only write down 3 things, because those 3 tasks, let's say those 3 tasks would take 30 minutes each, right? It takes an hour and a half in total. But because you're a procrastinator, maybe you're watching YouTube on the side, or whatever the case may be, each of those tasks takes you 2 hours. Okay, it takes you 6 hours. Try for the next day for it to take you not 6 hours. Try for the next day for it to take you 5 hours, and then the next day for it to take you 4 hours. And then eventually you'll become efficient with it, and you won't be in a position where you feel like you're a procrastinator, wasting time watching YouTube videos when you should be working, right? You can always fix that. Now, once you're doing this, if you're spending too much time on your phone, or that's your schedule done. If you're spending too much time on your phone, that's simple as well. A lot of you spend too much time on your electronic devices, and that's what's preventing you from working. The addiction to electronics. It's really just what's preventing you from working. So how do you fix it, right? There are plenty of ways. You can set, for example, on the iPhone, you can set timers for how long you can be on your apps. There's another way that you can set your color scale on your phone to black and white. And when you set it to black and white, your phone will be so unappealing that you won't even want to use it, right? That's one way to do it. You could do both of those things, though. There's an app called the Blank Spaces app that I used to use. And the Blank Spaces app, all it would do, I have no affiliation with it, by the way, just to make that clear. But what it would do is it would take all of your phone icons, and rather than having the Instagram logo, it's going to just be a black box that says Instagram and white text in it. And you might be wondering, well, what's the point of that? Well, the point of that is that once you're, lost train of thought. The point of that is that a lot of people don't realize, but when you see those apps, because you love watching Instagram Reels, for example, when you see the Instagram logo, you actually get a dopamine rush, believe it or not. So, because of that, it's the Blank Spaces app can help. And something that's really, really great that you can do is, guess what? All of these things combined. If you do all of these things combined, where you have the Blank Spaces app, you change your phone's color scale, and you lock your apps out on times, now you're not using your phone as much. You do the whiteboard thing, now you have your schedule set in place. You have somebody holding you accountable. Now you have no choice. The only thing left you gotta do is fix your mentality, right? You're gonna have to get rid of plan B. I don't care how stupid you think that is. Get rid of plan B. Okay? Get rid of it. It doesn't exist no more. Now that it doesn't exist, now you need to be able to fail. Buy a notepad, for example. Buy a physical notepad that you can write in. That's only for your failures. Have it written failures on the side of the notepad or something. And every time you feel like you failed doing something, write it down. Write down what you failed in, why you failed, what you learned from your failures. That's the most important part. Write what you learned and highlight those. Make sure that you're learning from your failures. And then that way, when you actually realize that you're learning from your failures, every time you fail, your brain's not just going to be super upset. Your brain's going to be upset from failing, but then it's also going to be happy that it learned. Because when you learn, you get dopamine, right? Because you learned something new. So if you're able to give yourself some dopamine in that time of sadness, you're going to realize that your failures won't be as miserable. In fact, it might get to the point where I'm at, where your failures are just totally neutral. Because for real, mine are neutral. You might not even believe that. I'm gonna be honest, if somebody told me that before like a while ago, many years ago, that when they failed, they didn't really care. I do care. When they failed, they felt neutral about it, and maybe even a little bit of happiness, because it's neutral because you have a little bit of sadness, a little bit of happiness, and the reason for that is because I learned something. And whether you want to believe that or not, it's true. It is absolutely 100% true. So you need to be able to, like I said, fix your schedule, get off your phone, get rid of plan B, maybe even have someone hold you accountable, and believe in yourself. I'm going to put this plain and simple for you. You're not betting on red and black at a casino. You're betting on yourself. When it comes to being an entrepreneur, you're betting on yourself. And what I'm trying to say here is it's not a gamble. You're betting on yourself. If you want to succeed, you need to be able to have, no doubt in yourself. If you're doubting yourself, you're not going to succeed. And that's just the truth of the matter. Geez, a lot of talking, but I feel like hopefully you guys are learning something out of this. Because truthfully, I wish I had this kind of advice when I first started. Because when I first started, I definitely got really upset about failing. Because like I said, I failed so many times, and at times I would even, honestly, there was never really a point where I really wanted to give up. Because for me, like I said, I really hated where I was at. I did not enjoy my life because I felt like I was going to be forced to go to college. I really just didn't want to do that. So because I didn't want to go to college, I never wanted to give up, because for me it was like, if I give up, my life is over. I cannot give up, essentially. Yeah. All right. My bad. Anyways, now that we've kind of gotten to the point where hopefully you've learned how you can fix your schedule, hopefully you've learned how you can believe in yourself. You need to learn to believe in yourself. Now you know how important it is, right? So whether that be watching YouTube videos, motivational YouTube videos, or TED Talks, or maybe just reading motivational books, whatever the case is, now you know that you have to do that. If you really have a bad mentality, those are things you can do. There are a ton of books. You could search up on Reddit, just recommendations for books that are motivational, or that, I don't know, things like that, essentially. What else can you do? Books, videos, TED Talks, those are all good sources of helping fix your mentality. And once you're in the position where you feel like you're able to fix your mentality, from there it's going to be so much easier. So mentality, scheduling, putting the work in, a lot of hours. Remember, a lot of hours when you first start, for sure. Getting rid of plan B, right? You've done all these things. Now, let's get back to the basis. Why aren't you starting? You should be able to start. It doesn't have to be starting your social media journey or your online entrepreneurial journey or whatever the case is. Maybe if you're in the place where you're lacking motivation or lacking a reason to do things, maybe then you can start just by reading a book or watching videos. Whatever the case is, you're going to be in a different part than everybody else. Everybody watching those videos in a different part. Maybe some people have the mindset and they're just ready to go immediately. It's going to be different for absolutely everybody. So just know that. Know that you're going to start wherever you're most comfortable starting. So if you need motivation, start by watching motivational stuff, reading motivational books. If you don't need motivation, realize that you need to get rid of plan B. If you don't have a plan B, realize that you need to put a lot of hours in when you first start, and that you need to grind and fit in. Above all, I think the most important thing is that when you fail, because even with all these things, all of you guys might have tried something in the past or might be willing to try something, right? But the biggest thing is going to be that when you fail, you learn something from it. You don't get overly upset when you fail, okay? If you can do that, I think that's going to be the most important thing, but I also think that should be the last step. You need to have everything else I talked about covered first before you get into this kind of failure stuff and being able to learn from your failures and be like almost be happy. If you can manage to be happy when you fail because you're like, oh my gosh, I learned so much for what to do in my next business, that's where you should hope to be at. That should be your goal. And I think that would be a very good spot for you guys to be at. If you can get everything done in this video, even without starting your business yet, if you can just do everything I said in this video, and fix your mentality, right? Everything I talked about was mainly about fixing your mentality, like scheduling, all that. I won't repeat it all again because I just talked about it. But if you're able to fix all of those things, now you have the perfect mentality. Now, trust me, when you try and do things, even if you fail, it won't matter because you're going to go on to the next thing and then the next thing. And you're going to realize, you're going to see just how easy it is to succeed when your mentality is in the right spot. Trust me when I say that. Mentality is king. Mentality is what's going to make you money versus what's not going to make you money, right, if you have a bad mentality. So, to answer your question, how do people that are dumber than you make millions? It's because it's not about how smart or dumb you are to make money. It's about your mentality and how skeptical you are. If you realize that everything can be possible and that you're not just unlucky and that you could do it if you just fix your mentality, then you'll make money. And the key is that even if you were the stupidest person ever, you would be able to make money if you're able to fix your mentality. Once you realize that you really can do it. And I'm talking to you, whoever's watching this video, you can do it. If you're watching this video and you understood everything I said so far, you have the capacity to do it. If you can realize that, go ahead, fix your mentality, get started. Once again, join my Telegram because in there I give away all my sauce.